Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And the painting I'm bringing you today is called Dawn Road. It's 8 by 12 inches, and I finished this one yesterday. I'd actually started it the day before. Did it in two stages, and this might be a good one for you too, because, well, actually, like because I'm videotaping the process. If I go too long from when I started a painting to finish the video, all the not all the paint, but some of the colors will go very matte and dull as they're drawing, and that usually needs a bit of coating or something. But you definitely want to wait to do that coating until the painting is bone dry. Otherwise, you'll just end up removing what you've done with whatever solvent was part of your coating solution. In my case, I like to use liquid, not as a varnish. It's not a varnish, but it is a little bit of a protective layer. And what I really like about liquid is it gives you that nice satin finish. So I have painted this scene before, about I'd say 8 months ago, 6 months ago, as a 4x6, which is the same proportions. I did flip it. That's sometimes a good thing to do, really will hit your senses a bit differently, but a very inspiring bit of reference that I had for this, and so much so that it inspired a second attempt at the scene. I was very happy with the 4x6, and I do recall that was a painting where I had used Mars Violet, which is a beautiful opaque color, kind of like what you're seeing in front of you, except that it's opaque. And the problem with it was, for underpainting, is I would have to wait for it to dry completely. I couldn't work over the top of it while it was wet due to that opacity. That's not an issue with the painting I've done here. In fact, I did the underpainting same day as the sky. And getting back into that, so you can break up your painting process. Even though essentially I work alla prima, meaning all at once. I don't actually work all at once. What I'll do, sometimes I do, if it's small enough and the scene is simple enough that I feel I can get it all done in an hour or so. That would be truly alla prima. But sometimes, as the paintings get bigger or the scene's more complex, you'll need to break things up. And so, natural way to break things up is the drawing stage. Now, in this case, I used some burnt umber, but I really had it juiced up with a lot of this Rembrandt madder, which is a lovely color, kind of like alizarin crimson without the purplish overtones or undertones or whatever the correct expression for that would be. But it's got like a purple tint in it, alizarin, and it's not usually a problem, but it's nice. It's not there. It's like more neutral. I really wanted to paint this on my the brown, the color that I've been favoring a lot, but I didn't have any 8x12s that size, and I really wanted to do this as an 8x12, and so I had this red board, and I thought, well, that's fine. That's kind of what I did last time, and there's a lot of red peeking around through the whole scene and all the foliage, and even up in the sky and stuff. So it was a really good decision, I think, just to go with the red. And when I am painting on a more reddish type of ground or underpainting, sometimes I'll call it the underpainting color, but it's really the ground color, the color of the board itself. That's referred to as a ground by painters in the know. uh, I'll juice up that burnt umber with a bit more red. On the brown, the soil type tone that I've been painting on a lot lately, that's not necessary at all. It's a perfect combination with the soil tone and the burnt umber. So, you can do the drawing one day. Like a lot of my students over here have had kids and stuff. Their schedules are kind of fragmented. I'll say, well, yes, do a drawing or underpainting one day. That'll take you a half hour, maybe more, maybe less, depending again on the complexity of the scene. I don't think it's good to get into, well, as I always say, in the weeds, start getting real detailed and trying to figure things out. I would say that that's not a bad practice, but I would be doing that with a pencil and a sketchbook instead of for a painting. For a painting, although the Impressionists basically absconded the term Impressionism, every painting ever done is an impression. So there's nothing, they just were lucky enough to grab that title. But all tonal work, all tonalist work is all tonalism is impressions. It's all impressionistic if you think about it. And that's what we want. We want impressions of the scene. We want the shapes in good places, maybe not exactly where they were in the reference image. In fact, you should always be thinking about that. Will this look better if I move this or change this? Now we're going to be coming up for an ad for the book. Oh, we've been shipping a lot of books out, and I'm really glad about that because I just got a new order in, and we're ready to rock and roll. I'll send it to you anywhere on the planet for $60 US. That is international shipping included, and I do that just so no one has to go, worry about it. You get to, I hate that, you think, oh, it costs this, and then you get to the cart, and oh, they live there. Oh, whoa, that's the shipping. I know it just be creating, I don't know, just a bad feeling. I don't like it, so I include it, and I make a little less, but hey, it's all good. I'm getting it to you, and a lot of great feedback on that book. Now, right, so I had to remind myself what it. There was something I've been knocking it around a lot in my head lately, and because I'm always thinking of you, I want to help you, and I remember, not so much for painting, but a lot of times when you want to accomplish something, you see someone who looks like they're doing it, and they're at a place where you'd like to be. And that just toss off something like, well, you got to paint a lot. And it's like, well, that's nice. Okay. But, I want real answers. I want real, help me out. And that's always through my mind, even though the whole second part of this video is going to be talking to you about painting a lot. But not just that. I want to go in depth a little bit. So the thing I've been thinking about is like, how do you know what scene is going to paint up well, and how do you know which aspects of that scene need to be played up or diminished to make a good painting? How do you know? And it's incredibly hard to teach that for a lot of different reasons. For one, you actually have to do just about everything, and eventually walk by your painting and go, oh, that didn't work, and then you'll remember. And so next time this comes up, and for me, it starts functioning as last weekend I was out taking some nice photos to use for reference for paintings, and my wife will say, what about that? What about that? But I know it won't work, and I say, no, that won't work, and this is why. I know it won't work because I tried to do it and it didn't work. How many different types of scenes are there? How many different ways to paint those scenes are there? There's how many different people, and everyone's completely different. I mean, nobody's the same. I've never met anyone even remotely like myself. I'm sure you could probably say the same. So what's incumbent on you is to get out there in nature, take some photos of things that, what's going to happen is you're going to see a tree or some shapes or a flow in the landscape. You think that could make a good painting. Take that picture or get your sketchbook out. And in fact, if you get your sketchbook out, you're already going to start digesting things. But for my case, I prefer the camera. I just prefer a flat record. That's one thing always to keep in mind, by the way. When you take a picture with a camera, everything is flattened out. So that's one advantage that en plein air painters have over those of us that like to use photo reference. And then you need to go through your photos, and a lot of times you'll see the photos all flattened out in your camera or your phone or whatever you're using. Really appraise things at that point, and if you think, well, that didn't, whatever it was that was striking me as something that would make a painting, I don't see it now, just delete that photo. Although maybe not. If you think there's still a chance, keep it, because what might happen down the road as you have more experience, you might know, oh, well, there's just like an odd tree if I don't paint that. A lot of times it'd be like a weird tree right in the middle of where you want the line of sight to flow through the painting. That's definitely something you don't want to do. And I've been trying to think of ways. I have a couple different books on composition, but it's most of the teaching or instruction that I've seen on composition, it falls short because, again, it's very subjective. Everything is changing and moving and shifting all the time. So, what do you do? Well, take those photos or collect those references and make paintings from them. Don't make giant wall-sized paintings because odds are very good that until you've painted quite a few paintings, you'll have some good ones, but many of them won't be good, and you need to just be okay with that. You need to, if you want to be a good painter, you're going to need to learn to be okay with that. And yes, it is painful, because how good could your work even be if you weren't, leaving the gate thinking, oh, I want this to be great. I always do. But sometimes it doesn't work out, and what I will say is somebody who's been doing this for like 14, 15 years now, I get consistently better results because of all the failure. The failure has been the thing that supports me, supports my work. I know a lot of times what will work, and now that's not to say that I can't fail still. I do. I just stomped on one the other day and threw it in the trash, It was already a failed painting. I was trying to save it, and it was going nowhere, and I thought, nah, I don't need this stinking up my legacy. That's a little bit of a vanity, of course, but I think all of us as artists and painters, we will have some degree of that. We will have some degree of desire for our work, to be collected, admired, and well regarded after we are no longer here. Which, is something I've talked about in this channel, and I don't want to get too much into that because I really want to talk more about your attitude. So, that's one reason I like, a lot of people consider 8 by 12 to be a small painting, but if you know the channel, I can go 1/4 the size of this all day long. That's 4 by 6. And 4 by 6 will go a little quicker, but not always. Not always. You can make anything take a long time. So here's, you maybe get a pad out and take a few notes. Don't work too big, like maybe up to 5 by 7, 6 by 8. Every now and again, I want you to put a bigger one up on the easel and take a crack at it. And the best time to do that's when you've been doing quite a few good ones, you're feeling strong. Don't take a long time with their painting. If you get anything from old Uncle Mike's channel here, just, actually, how long did this painting take me? It took me about 3 hours, okay? I honestly like paintings to not really take that long, but yeah, that's fine. It takes as long as it takes, but 3 hours is fairly expedient. If I told a potential buyer of this painting, it took me 3 hours. Well, first of all, they're gonna go, why are you asking for, $500-600? And I'm gonna go, well, it took 3 hours over 2 days, and that's concentrated focus. I didn't do, 10 paintings those days, so yeah, I gotta get paid, and I'm not gonna produce, I'm lucky. In fact, really, where my head's at is get a painting done, especially this is my busy time of year, summer over here in New Zealand, so the galleries are cracking. Odds are, hopefully they'll sell much of the inventory that I provided them with that I built up over the winter and fall, winter, spring. And they're going to be maybe looking for more before the season's out, so I'm sort of trying to hustle and get things done, which is good, but sometimes if I'm really on, I could do 2 paintings in a day, but even if it's small, that's another thing, you have a limited amount of focus, so use it. So work fairly small. Have your reference. If you don't know Photoshop or something, why don't you you can learn anything on YouTube. Here we are on YouTube, and I'm teaching you all about how to paint at a masterful level, okay? So, and that ain't costing you much or nothing. It's maybe an ad you got to watch if you don't have a blocker, And then, of course, there's a members area, which I think is better in a sense because it's real time. The struggle is real, and we're there together. You're a fly on the wall. So check that out. $6 a month. I don't mind. You can tip in, tip out. I don't follow real closely who's doing that because for me, It's there for people that want to go a little deeper. Anyway, that's my advice for today. And until I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family. Have a happy holiday season and a good new year. And stay out of trouble. Fight the power.